Welcome back to Cult Pop. I'm your host, Jim Hall. Today we have a very cool show for you. It's going to be all horror today. We're going to talk about horror movies, horror conventions, and a movie series that's going on as we speak and will be going on next summer. And you're going to want to try to get tickets for that because it'll be something a lot of fun. With me today are Todd and Tommy Brunswick, and they are producers, directors, and kind of horror moguls in the state of Michigan. They produce and direct movies. They have all types of horror conventions that they do throughout the year. And they have a great film series that goes on in the summer and is currently going on now at a location near you that we will put up for you. But Todd and Tommy, thanks so much for coming on Cult Pop today. I'm really happy to have you.
Thanks.
And I want to jump right in. We're at the beautiful Grace and Wild Studios.
Yes.
And we're here in beautiful Farmington Hills, Michigan. And we're here for a reason because you're going to be working on your newest project here, and you're going to make the announcement about that project on Cult Pop.
We'll do that, absolutely. Yeah. We are doing a documentary, a feature-length documentary based on the Gallagher tapes. Father Gallagher, who was the teacher at, I forget what school William Peter Blatty was at the
it was a Catholic
Georgetown.
college.
Yeah. And these are the real stories, case files that Blatty based the Exorcist novel and then the movie on.
Right, and in the tapes he actually has all the Catholic documents and everything, and he tells, there's a lot more to the stories than just you see in The Exorcist.
The movie was scary.
And these have never been seen. They've been sitting in somebody's basement since the 70s.
30-some years.
Well, off camera, we discussed how terrifying that movie is to me still to this very day. So I can imagine that this material is going to be excellent for a documentary.
It's
awesome.
Very riveting. Yeah, it's really, really
in fact,
cool stuff.
we're hoping for a small theatrical release with it.
Oh, that'll be
2012.
excellent.
2012.
2012, all right, well, there you go. The date's up there. There you go.
We're going with it. 2012.
Well, thanks for making the announcement. I know your fans are going to be very excited about that. And throughout the show, we're going to have your website up so that people can look into that information and all of your other films that we're going to talk about. And let's jump right into some of your horror movies that you've done and that you guys are famous for locally and now across the country because you're getting some distribution and sales and such. You do a lot of cool horror movies here, and the great thing about it for here in Michigan is that you're doing them locally, using local talent, using a lot of local talent, a lot of local filmmakers, and then you're also bringing in names from across the country, actors from across the country, but you don't forget about the local folks, and I think that's great. And let's kind of just jump right into some of these movies. I love them all. I'm a huge horror fan, so I love your films. And let's jump right in with Jingles the Clown. Tell us about Jingles the Clown. That's one of the ones that there's about 5 that really puts you on the map. The Clown and Jingles the Clown has really kind of gotten you guys a good name. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Jingles the Clown.
Yeah, Mr. Jingles came out as the first one. It was small budget. came out
2006 from Lionsgate.
Came out through Lionsgate, and it just went everywhere. In fact, our movies actually are worldwide. Most of our movies sell overseas even before they get released here.
Right.
Because we met somebody
in France.
No, we met someone at AFM, which is the American Film Market we go to every year, and he was looking at our badges, and he's French. He goes, "I know you." And we go, "Yeah."
Uh-oh.
He says, we go, "What?" And he's got a real thick French accent. He goes, "Mr. Jingles." I go, "It hasn't even been released in France yet." He goes, "No, he got it from Europe or something because he wanted to see it so bad. He was so excited to meet us."
So it's pretty cool. We're trapped in an elevator with the
in an elevator in Santa Monica.
For folks at home who are not familiar with your horror films yet, they're going to get an opportunity now to get to learn about it. Tell folks a little bit about Mr. Jingles, Jingles the Clown, what the whole idea is behind these two stories.
That is you.
Jingles the Clown. No, Jingles is probably one of my favorite characters. He's demonic. Well, now he was a child murderer, just like a Freddy Krueger-esque type of beginning.
Right, and I don't like just serial killers.
Right.
So that's when we.
So then we made him. He gets he gets murdered and whatever, and then he makes his deal with the devil. And he comes back, and now he's this.
Demonic clown. He's more of a creature.
Yeah, he can pretty much be anywhere, anything. There's a supernatural tie-in, and I think the first one we kind of just went with it. We didn't really get too much into it.
Right.
And then when we did the reimagining of Jingles the Clown last summer in 2009.
And it was just released in August.
Yeah, it just came out this August. We really kind of went into there's a whole different thing going on for him, and he's more human and more demonic all at the same time, which I think.
Throughout the show, we're going to get an opportunity to look at a few of your films. We're going to take a look at clips from different films. Let's start that right now and take a look at a clip from Jingles the Clown. Perfect. And why don't you kind of let us know what we're going to see right now.
Yeah, well, our favorite scene in the movie, I think it's both of ours, is Virginia's killed. Virginia's her actress name. Is her
Right. Miranda?
Miranda
getting killed
Miranda's
by Mr.
getting
Jingles.
killed
I think it's
by
one of my
Mr.
favorite
Jingles.
kills in the whole film.
It is extremely intense, and you could just see how torn Mr. Jingles is, because he is wanting to kill her, but he's laughing. He's feeling guilty all at the same time, and the acting that John Anton did was just amazing. And Virginia, she was a great victim for us.
Okay, excellent. Well, let's take a look
at
then.
that.
Please don't hang up.
That's better. Thank you. Now, please turn around.
What? No!
What have I done? My baby. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. Pray for me. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, that's it, that's it, that's it. Pray for me, pray for me, pray for me.
Okay, yeah, very cool. Jingles the Clown is one of my favorites.
Cool.
I absolutely love it. And since we have so much to talk about today, you've got a vast library. Throughout the show, we've been showing your website so people can go and check it out and check out the various films. Jingles the Clown is currently for sale. I think, did I see an ad in Fangoria
Yep.
and in Sci-Fi and all that?
Yeah,
So
and Rue Morgue.
if the name is familiar to people saying, God, I think I've seen, you've
Yeah,
seen it
you've
in
seen it
these
around,
different
sure.
magazines. But we want to focus on a couple more of your films that are just personal favorites and things we wanted to talk about. They Must Eat.
Oh,
That's
Must
just
Eat.
a really, really good monster movie. Just absolutely love that
Cool,
one. That's how I was first exposed to you guys at one of, before I even got to know you, I was at one of your movie nights. And that was one of the movies showing and kind of fell in love with your
Oh,
stuff
cool.
from then on. So let's tell the folks a little bit about They Must Eat and the background of that story.
It was originally called Dead Things. It
Yeah.
was supposed to be urban, the movie
Tie.
set
Okay,
in
sure.
tie in there. But we changed it around because the actors and everything and the budget that we had. And it was the only movie that we've shot that I wrote. So it was very exciting for me. And the creatures and special effects were all done by us. I mean, everyone multicast
Well, they're
through
Boneyard
there.
Effects. We got
Well, we just bought stuff
Right.
online and then created the creatures. And we started out with a little airbrush to airbrush our 6'5" creature. Then we went and bought one of those
Industrial sprayers.
industrial ones that you spray paint houses with. That's what we.
as we wound up.
Yeah, the creatures are very, very cool.
They were fun to do. It was a fun. You know, the gags in that movie are some of my favorites. The head in the bucket. There's a whole bunch of really fun
that
things
was
we
him.
did there.
His idea for
But,
that head in the bucket was.
And again, John Anton playing the lead,
Sanford,
Sanford. It was a fun movie, and the monsters were fun to make, and the guys, you know, that was John and Doug and Adam were stuck in those. We were shooting around the clock, so they would like sleep in that makeup
Well,
a couple of
I
days.
begged them to sleep in the.
So that you didn't have to reshoot.
Yeah,
wouldn't
because
have
we
to
had
do
to
it.
be
You
up
have to
just
and
touch it up
shooting
and-
again in
Yeah.
4 hours. So it's
Sure.
like, hey, could you just sleep? And John Manthe had had the sinus infection, And oh my God, it's disgusting. But it was like
We
they
had
were
to help
such.
empty it out.
They were
Sure, I understand.
so cool and so tough, and they go through all that stuff because it's.
And it was January,
Oh,
and
yeah,
I had them
explain
wear
that.
fur here and here.
Okay, yeah, and that's it.
And it was cold, and then they're eating off stuff.
Well, the
off
creatures
floor,
were really
yeah.
good in that movie, and it's just a really good, fun horror film that
Cool,
I really,
thanks.
really,
It was fun to do,
really
yeah,
enjoy.
it's a fun
And that goes back to the local feel, where you're using local people, you're really
Yeah.
working, and you've kind of gotten a really good name from that one. You see a lot of shirts out there with "They Must Eat" and things
Yeah.
like that, where you sell at different conventions. And one thing I wanted to talk about, the family feel and the local feel. You're a husband and wife team that I think is
Yep.
so neat. Writing, directing, producing, editing, all as
Raising
a family
4
team.
children.
Raising
Right?
4
And-
boys, yes.
and then you also bring in local writers, and
Sure.
you have a few people that you work with constantly, the same team, and I think that's really neat. But They Must Eat is one I really recommend folks buy Jingles the Clown, track down They Must Eat, watch that one. But we're going to show a clip from that, and I think people will really kind of dig that and want to track it down. Tell us what we're going to see from They Must Eat.
Well, there's the scene where Sanford has befriended
Kojak.
Kojak, which is like the eldest one of the ghoul monsters.
And yes, Kojak is named after Telly Savalas.
Excellent. Yes. Okay, let's take a look.
Uncle! 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 Kojak! Oh no, you got it all wrong. I'm no killer. You can understand me.
Well, that's a very cool clip, and we can see the whole Kojak reference, where that comes from with the look of the monster there. That's a very cool movie, one of my favorites of yours, kind of how I got familiar with you guys and with these couple of movies. Now, we're going to segue from that movie into Born of Earth. Now, Born of Earth is one of your bigger productions, and I keep on mentioning that you use local talent, you use local people, but you also bring in Hollywood stars and names people have seen before. Born of Earth is a good representation of that, where we've got some named people in the film, working with local actors, you guys writing, directing, and all that. Talk a little bit about Born of Earth and some of the names people would recognize in there.
Well, we have James Russo, Brad Dourif, and Daniel Baldwin were the name, the celebrity actors that came in for that. Actually, it was written by a guy.
Well, we got the script off of inktip.com.
Right.
And he was in
Joe Thompson.
Philadelphia?
Yeah, he's in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, so.
But it was cool that, again, it was his first screenplay he'd ever written. We had no idea.
No.
So he's like, I mean, that's kind of the same spirit. We're bringing a lot of first-time people into, then you get these 100 movie veterans who are coming in to work with us too. And and it was fun. We got to work with Robert Kurtzman again in Precinct 13. Designed all the monsters and did all the monster gags.
Gary
for the
Jones
film.
was on set doing all of the stuff. Gary Jones is a director also from
local
Michigan.
guy. So it was cool having all these, working with a lot of these.
Yeah, working with Academy Award winning special effects artists was really cool.
it's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's all right.
That's always cool, yeah.
But it was cool having, and then Brad and James having them in together, because they're buddies, out in the real world. But that's the reason Brad came in, is he wanted to do these few scenes that he had with the sheriff, and he's like, if that's Russo, he says, I'll come in and do those scenes.
Yeah,
it'll be a lot of fun.
because we wouldn't have been able to afford him other than that, because he is definitely a huge name.
Yeah, and it's really neat
I
when
think
you
he just
see
did like
guys.
that Lord of the Rings thing.
Yeah,
he did Lord of the Rings,
No,
yeah.
they just did Halloween first.
Yeah, he
Rob
just
Zombie's
finished
Halloween,
Rob
and then he
Zombie's
came to do
Halloween.
our thing.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool.
Yeah, whenever I see him now, knowing that you've worked, I'm like, oh wow, how cool that.
And he is a really neat guy, but he is so focused on his character. Doesn't matter if it's multi-million-dollar movie or small movie. He was spot on. Terrified everyone in the crew.
Well, now there's a couple scenes we want to take a look at with this
Yeah.
movie. The very, very cool movie. Tell us first. We want to take a look, I believe, at the opening sequence.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
It's where actually our son is in the opening sequence. Daniel Baldwin, actually his children get taken by these creatures, and he gets pulled underground, and Todd actually came up with the gag for that. and it was amazing because you can't tell that there's a rise. I
Don't give it
shouldn't
away.
tell.
No,
They're going to see it.
They'll
so.
see it in a minute.
Yeah, there's a riser, and you can't tell that they're just being pulled down. It looks awesome. So that's one of my favorite scenes, other than my son being.
Yeah, your son gets an opportunity.
Right.
Okay, let's take a look at that one. Okay, excellent scene and spot-on job by your son there. Very good. And we've got another scene from this movie we want to take a look at to kind of see Brad in action and James.
Yeah, there's the scene with the sheriff and the mayor. Brad plays the mayor and Russo plays the sheriff, and they're confronting each other about what's going on in this town. And there's a past and there's all this cool stuff. But this was something that the two of them, I forget how it was originally written, but they just came in and said, this is kind of what we've been working on at Starbucks all afternoon, so this is how we're going to do it.
So this is how we're going to do it.
And we're like,
okay.
You guys are the bosses.
We'll certainly go with that.
We'll
so
go with that.
it was, we blocked it out real fast, and they just totally delivered in this scene.
And
it's
because
really cool.
they wanted to actually, Russo and Dorff wanted something for their reel together because they're such good friends. And Brad had the scene where he pulls out his partials and sticks them in his glass of alcohol, just to make him mad. And it is just so dynamic watching those two together.
Right.
Okay, let's take a look.
So our boy's in custody. Medicinal purposes. What the hell are you doing? This guy lost his family.
You had me drag him away from his wife's grave, for Christ's sakes.
What can I say, Sheriff? You've done a good job as far as looking the other way when told. Stopping pointless investigations. And in general, being a good dog. And keeping your mouth shut.
I kept my mouth shut because I didn't want to look incompetent, and we don't know what the hell tore that woman apart.
It was an animal, like we said.
Oh, come on, huh?
You like your job, Sheriff?
What the hell does that mean?
It's funny that you should use the word incompetent. Didn't the whole state of Texas think so?
What happened down there was an accident.
Which is exactly what a person who was incompetent would say. If you want to keep your badge and not wind up working security at the mall, you will keep your mouth shut. And you will do exactly what I tell you. Now let's go give Mr. Kessler a visit, shall we?
You're on your own with this one.
Fine. You want to go pretend like you're a cop again? Go ahead, but stay out of my way or I will fire your ass.
Well, that's a very cool scene, and the one little story you got to tell behind that is that's not a special effect.
No,
or
that's
that
really it.
is.
That's what they worked on at
Yeah.
Starbucks, and it was because Brad had just got those partials, and he really, really couldn't stand them. They were really uncomfortable for him to get used to. So they kept doing that at Starbucks. He just got frustrated and took them out because he couldn't talk right. So he's like, when we do this, he says, I'm gonna throw them in the glass anyway. So we'll just go with that. And it was like, awesome.
Well, very, very
Really
cool
cool.
scene.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that with us, and thanks for sharing it with the fans of Cult Pop. That's very cool. And as we're moving on through the show, there's a lot to talk about. So you have a big movie library. We're not going to talk about every one. Sure. What the folks at home can do is go to MotorCityNightmares.com or just go to cult-pop.com. Check out our show, and you can link right onto their website and see all the movies and just all the things that we're going to talk about today, but specifically movies that you can track down and learn about. Go to their website for that. But I talked about at the beginning of the show how you guys are kind of all horror, not just movies, You have the film series that you do, and you also do conventions. You have a convention once or twice a year that you bring some big name guests in, and it's been very well attended, and just fans absolutely love it. You've got another convention coming up in 2011, and we're going to want to give people a heads up about that. So let's talk a little bit about that right now.
It's Death by Taxes, April 15th through 17th. Yeah. So everyone will remember that.
Yes.
Right.
And yeah, we have Robert Kurtzman and his crew are coming up. We're going to see about a
Dusk Till Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn and Wishmaster reunion.
Oh, excellent,
Yeah,
excellent.
because
okay.
he was one of the writers, I think, on Dusk Till Dawn and does special effects. And Wishmaster, he's the director of that. So we're going to bring in all of his people along with some old favorites, Tiffany Shepis, Kane Hodder, Tony Todd's going to come back for this one.
Excellent,
He's
excellent.
a blast. And we have also a lot of other people. We're going to have some pinup girls there. And
Dee Wallace is coming
oh
back.
yeah, Dee Wallace is coming back.
And
Yeah.
little Danielle Harris.
Danielle Harris and Serena Vincent. I talked to them.
Right.
So we have a good
Yeah,
mix.
you bring all kinds of a good mix of horror stars, B-movie actors.
Right.
Plus, you have a lot of different vendors and stuff selling things
Oh
there.
yeah,
of all
we're going
kinds
to
of
have
vendor
horror
huge.
shirts.
The vendor
Yeah,
is
it's
going to
gonna
be
be
huge
great
this
this
year
year.
because we have lots of people. We're very interested.
We've actually added, I don't know if you were there last year, but we had to add another room. So we've got
Excellent.
all four of them. I mean, it's just a huge vendor area this year. I mean, it's like almost like Fango's used to be.
Right, and we
so.
show movies there all day,
Right.
all night.
There's like a little film festival
There's
that goes on there.
two of them, and we show any movie that's made in Michigan. We will show in one of our theaters if someone wants to submit it.
Okay,
Doesn't
excellent.
have to be horror, just because we're always supporting.
All right, well,
Michigan.
that's really good. So for folks at home watching that, and I know that I've got filmmakers that write me, and different
Sure,
people
sure.
are interested, they'll be able to contact you via the show because they can go to your website
Yeah,
and
and
let
there's
you know.
to do the screening room, like there's no fee. I mean,
Yeah.
we just
Right.
want to promote anybody that's
Right.
Michigan.
But
so
yeah,
come
for
on
the
out.
film festival is different.
Right.
But we
Right,
promote
for your
Michigan.
thing, for your
right.
thing.
Well, for the
Michigan.
film festival, the prize winners get. I mean, we guarantee we're through our distribution networks and stuff. They'll get
Yeah,
a North American
North
release.
American
So
Wow,
that's,
okay,
you know, if it's
fantastic.
worth it, if it makes it through, and yeah, I mean, we're the judges, so it's
Right.
pretty like
And
we're gonna hold an eye
It's
to
our
it.
distributor,
Right.
R Squared Films.
Right.
Right. Oh yeah,
R-Squared
oursquaredfilms.com.
Films.
There's a whole bunch of our stuff.
A bunch of our movies are on there. In fact, they're putting out a 4-pack of our movies the end of the year.
And all that stuff, all these websites can be reached through our website or through your Motor City Nightmares. Everything's right there. It's a great website and a lot of everything's there. Information about you, information about the events, and all that stuff coming up. So, folks at home, you're definitely going to want to look into that. And I think the conventions are just really cool because a lot of people like to meet their heroes from the old horror movies and things like that.
And,
So.
and it's really, I mean, we have the VIP party after, so all the vendors are invited to come in, all the guests are invited to come in, and I forget what the ticket price is on that, but it's just it's a no-dough, cheap kind of thing to come in and hang out. Last year we had the amino acids playing, so we'll have.
Yeah.
We'll
we
have
have
a
like
band
Dead
and we
Dave
do
and
the
Wolf and Mac will be
Dead
at the
Dave
show.
And do you know what? Is it too early to tell what hotel?
Novi
and everything?
Sheridan. We'll be
Okay,
there for
Novi
the next
Sheridan.
5 years.
Next 5 years
Okay.
we've already
Yeah,
booked
we've already
for
Okay,
them.
it's already booked in. And Jerry and I, if we aren't crying because of our taxes, we'll try to come out a day and
Sure.
tape there
Great.
for a
It'll be
day,
fun.
get some of those actors,
Yeah.
and that'd be a real great place to do a show
Oh,
and
that's fun.
have a good time. So yeah, I really recommend folks at home, if you're watching on the internet, get the information, come on out because it's a really cool weekend, cool people. They can come talk to you. You guys are very accessible.
Oh, yeah,
the whole
we're there.
crew's
Oh,
out
yeah.
there.
All our
Dwayne,
guys are
we got Dwayne
Dwayne,
behind
you're
the
on the
scenes here.
camera.
He'll be there. And Dwayne, people when you see the films, then they'll
Yeah.
recognize Dwayne at the
You'll
convention and
recognize
stuff. So I bring up Dwayne because that's going to be the next thing I segue into, and that's kind of your film series, and that's kind of how the Fright Nights that I got to know you folks through that.
Right.
And it's a really neat idea where you present. You've done it in the summers, and you're doing it now. You'll do it again next summer. You present a locally produced horror film, and a lot of yours, but a lot of other filmmakers, and then an old public domain B horror flick.
Right.
And then just a lot of fun fans get together and riff on the film a little bit and kind of make fun. But it's a lot of people making a lot of friends and having real fun. You had it on, was it Thursdays this year? I think it was maybe Wednesdays last
the
year.
before, yeah.
And they're just really fun. Really fun days. I've met a lot of cool
Yeah.
people through
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it's fun.
And so, I give you kudos for doing such a fun thing and really helping the local people get a place to put their film out and a lot of cool people to meet each other. But tell us a little bit about your film series.
Well, I think Fright Nights came out of just us wanting to get out there and get to meet people and find other filmmakers.
And we're huge Mystery Science Theater fans.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. I mean, you can see there's that element of it. But, I mean, and also that, we make our movies, but we understand. I mean, it's fun to watch a horror movie, but these are beer and pizza movies.
Right,
and
right.
they've always been that way for me and
Yep.
for our, I mean, it's no fun watching them alone. I mean,
Right.
they are.
Yeah, I
but
have fun watching them alone.
it's better watching them with your friends. And it's just like we do this in our living room. We used to just have the guys.
We do it.
Yeah, well, everybody's
We
talking.
don't do
Here's
that.
like, well, let's do this with the whole theater of people and not just us. And I think this was started the first round of Fright Nights, where we did them for like a month, for a couple summers, I think, and then we started the whole summer, the 12
Right.
weeks of
You
summer.
went all summer last year and
And the year before,
previous.
yeah. And it was, it's like you said, it just got to be a thing. And then last year, at the end, people were really getting bummed, like, how are we going to get together?
Right.
Because we all got together on Wednesday. So then it was, well, let's do once a month, and then the Mix
So
Lounge.
now,
over
right,
in
through
Novi.
the fall, you're at the Mix Lounge
Mix
out in
Lounge here in
Novi,
Novi, yeah.
and they can get all that information at the website also. But there's one coming up in late October, and then I'm sure you'll probably have
October
one around
24th.
It'll- yeah, it'll be every
Thursday,
month.
Right.
about, yeah.
And one thing I want to stress for the folks at home, when I say it's an interactive experience, there's laser pointers, there's yelling back at the screen. Most movies
puppet
that's
shows
not
and
allowed. There's
Beach balls.
Yeah, and there's usually a trivia contest, things given away. When you come to the theater, they always have like a little bag of candy for you and a button. So it's a really fun event, and I really recommend you take the time to do it, because I got to know these folks through it and met a lot of cool people throughout the year that I didn't know before, and I just really had a heck of a time. So I think it's a really good, really good program you got going on there. I want to give you kudos for that. But we're just about out of time. I want to have you remind people about your website. Motor City Nightmares.
City
Tell
Nightmares,
folks about
yeah.
that.
MotorCityNightmares.com will be updated.
It's always being updated. It just takes a
Always
while.
being up. So just email whatever the MotorCityNightmares@gmail.com, and we'll respond to anything.
Okay, and you're on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook.
Tommy Brunswick is
Tommy
on Facebook,
Brunswick,
and
yeah.
that's really a great place to get daily updates where you're letting people know
Yeah, we
about
let
stuff with
people
that. But the website's a great one, from everything from being able to buy things, where to go to see things and do things, and so all the information that you folks at home are going to want to learn about, checking out the movies, going to this convention, seeing some of these films. For the local folks, go to the convention and see the films, and for the nationwide folks, order the films, right?
They're there.
No,
They're
come to the
available.
convention.
Yeah, well,
Come to the
fly in.
convention.
It's a long
Fly in.
weekend, nice hotel,
Yeah.
Novi, beautiful. A lot of,
It is nice.
you're right on the freeway, so you could, it'd be a
really
great
right off
weekend to
there.
go tour around beautiful spring in Michigan here. We got about a minute left. What else do you have to tell us? Is there anything
Oh, yeah, with our Squared, we just did a huge deal through Netflix and iTunes.
Oh,
and
that's
everything. So
right,
all
right.
of our, I think out of our 12, 11 titles, 10 of them will be available through the Netflix and through the iTunes and any
Excellent.
moment now. So
Excellent.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
and then we, and that's part of the whole Motor City Nightmares, moving into producing, a bunch of these
Right.
smaller movies.
And once again, the information on the website, but that's really neat, because that Netflix is spectacular.
yeah, it's
So-
really cool.
The
'Cause you-
digital
boom.
download
Right,
is
yeah,
awesome.
it's real
Yeah,
nice.
The
and that's-
delivery materials we need that used to cost thousands of dollars,
Right.
cut in half.
It's just
Amazing.
they have the information and they pass it on. Okay, well, excellent. God, it's been a real delight having you guys on the show today. I'm a fan of your guys, and we're friends now and everything, so it's just been a lot of fun having you on. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Grayson Wild Studios here. They've just been absolutely excellent at letting us into their beautiful facilities. It's here in Farmington Hills, Michigan, and they have everything in the top-notch film and television production needs. So if you need anything like that, look up Grayson Wild. They've got all kinds of studio, a spacious studio, editing facilities, just wonderful folks, and we thank them for having us in here today. But that's going to wrap up this Cult Pop. I remind you, if you want to rewatch the show, go to the website, cult-pop.com. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.